Guess I can't get to the other sections yet. Would you like to expand the control department? Oh, looks like I have a couple different things I can do here. Game speed acceleration, okay. Joint command permits you to give cross-divisional work orders between departments. All scattered agents to their home department's main room. I feel like this is the most useful off the bat. Unknown entity coming in. Wait a second, I think Finn might have acquired the rare headgear. With that bramble crown thing going on. Interesting. You know what, I don't feel like I have a need to actually hire anyone in right now. I'll just save my points. It legit does appear to be a fairy. Kind of a weird-looking fairy, but a fairy of sorts nonetheless. Okay, the other one's going to have a meltdown. Basic information, Fairy Festival. We'll try out attachment. Guess I really don't have any reason to keep working with Saiyan. Okay, so Instinct is actually the good one. When the work result was normal or good, small fairies appeared around the employee. Small fairies will heal the employee HP over a limited time. Interesting. non-escaping entity. Okay. 15 and 10, just like the other one. Okay. EGO suits it has are a little bit better. Mostly. The weapon deals red damage. I don't have any besides the default ones that do that yet, so I probably want to pick up a few of those. Abnormality story records, some record about it. Abnormality is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. Act as a cluster. We use a language we cannot understand to communicate with each other. Follow a few employees around when they enter the containment unit, using their special abilities to help heal injuries. Employee call this act the Fairy's Care. The fairies will protect our employees. If you often act out of the goodness of your heart and are a lover of nature, then the fairies will gladly take care of you. Everything will be peaceful while you're under the fairy's care. You can also enjoy the envious glances you'll get from other employees. Not that it's important, but what if the fairies don't approach you? Then you should reflect on your life. When Emil and I took shifts entering the fairies' containment unit, the fairies did not hesitate to approach me. Only me, never towards Emil. All know Emil and how he is. Why, just yesterday he refused to share his snacks with me. And he was acting all high and mighty. It is a sacred act to be protected by the fairies in any world. However, do not enter the containment unit just to have a bit of fun. If you've read a few books on them, you'll know that the fairies dislike those who take advantage of their kindness. The corresponding document is only accessible by employees level 4 and higher. When Walter, who was under the care of the fairies, died in the room of another abnormality, we noticed some anomalies. His stomach and face were ripped off, and his eyeballs and organs were damaged as if they were eaten by something. Moreover, the containment unit Walter was found in was for an abnormality that uses psychological attacks. Meanwhile, the fairies had someone's blood and flesh smeared all over their mouths. We did not bother to examine them to find out whose flesh and blood it was. In our world, there are few outcomes that result from perfect kindness. Having fairies that live in the forest visit you just because they like you, or that you've done many good deeds, is only something that can happen in fairy tales. Even though we know this truth, we still sometimes become deluded, thinking that the fairies' care is happening because of all the good deeds we have done, or that the fairies are favoring us because there is something that makes us more special than the other employees. The fairies are no more than carnivorous monsters, and their protection is their method to keep the meat fresh. When an employee enters another containment unit, they gobble them up in fear that they would lose their food to something else. Well, that's pretty important. However, the employees were greatly satisfied by the fairy's care, and we saw a drastic decrease in the accident rate, so we deemed it unnecessary to tell the truth to the employees. Huh, okay. I guess there's actually important stuff in the story records. A silent abnormality that understands the conflict between good and evil. Its empty eye sockets stare at all those who encounter it. A giant skull that is attached to a cross, it wears a crown of thorns. It floats about 2 meters above the ground. While its appearance is bizarre, it's rare to record an incident of violence against employees involving this abnormality. It feeds on the evil that seeps out during conversation between people. The assigned employees must kneel before it. Standing appears to be acceptable. and present their evil by confessing their sins to it. The way it feeds is unknown. We've cataloged the sins a person can commit into 3 levels. Level 1, a small lie or action that either goes unnoticed or can be shared in jest. Level 2, sins that are more serious and only shared with the closest of friends. Level 3, sins so profound that they cannot be shared with anyone. These will be taken to the grave. Employee Redacted had been assigned to confess a Level 1 sin. Energy production via the abnormality increased by 12%. Employee Redacted was assigned to confess a Level 2 sin. Energy production via the abnormality increased by 15%. We assigned Employee Redacted to confess a Level 3 sin. 1 minute 48 seconds after the employee was sent in, a bright flash of light was seen. The light was so bright that it could be seen outside the containment unit. Immediately following the light, there was a facility-wide power outage. The phenomenon lasted for 2 hours. Employee Redacted was lost 6 years of their memory. Further experiments were cancelled. Scientific ethics decree that all footage of those who participated in the experiment is to be kept sealed. However, the incident left us no choice but to review the footage of the containment unit. This happened during Redacted at around 4 p.m. Anyways, there was a railway about 20 minutes from my house, so my good friends and I decided to dress as forest animals. One of us chose to go as a deer. It was a crude costume. It could hardly be called one, to be honest. Just a pair of clumsily made antlers and a dark outfit with some deer-like spots on it. Omitted, I don't know how our dear friend wandered into the woods. We didn't even notice he was missing for maybe an hour. We searched for him and finally found him in some bushes. We called out his name, and I'm not sure if it was from relief of finally finding us or what, but he started sprinting towards us. That's when we heard the gunshots. Bang, bang, bang! When I came to my senses, I saw his blood splattered all the way to my feet. After that, not one of us dressed up as an animal ever again. That's all. By the way, is this really supposed to work? Eye sockets are empty. It is a skull after all. But I doubt that it's blind. It certainly has its gaze fixed on me, and I can somehow feel that it's listening to me. Confessing to it does lighten my heart, admittedly. Afterwards, we investigated the incident in the employee's hometown to get a better picture. We learned that a boy named Justin was shot and killed in a deer costume by hunters during hunting season. Unlike the employee's confession, Justin was repeatedly bullied by the other kids. Witnesses said that they heard the kids shout, "Run, Justin, run!" right before the gunshot. After the incident, the kids at the scene moved out of town, and deer hunting was banned in the area. Honestly, you can't expect all of our employees to give honest confessions to that skull. Around every 1 in 10 employees will tend to say something that is not completely true. It's a bit different from a lie. You can say that it's a subconscious excuse they make. They distort perspectives to justify their actions, even though they are aware that they should be telling the truth. Once this happens, the confession is no longer truly a confession. Yes, I'm talking about you trying to justify your tardiness for 5 minutes now. Interesting. So yeah, very SCP files stuff. Once again. And the important things are under the managerial guidelines? Okay, that's fair. Well, yeah, I guess that little part did end up in managerial guideline number 3. Oh, I see. can't remember, is there... Oh, yeah, there we go, missions. Okay. Purify cleared. Guess I could assign workers to keep working with the other ones just to improve their stats? Okay, that's probably pretty good. Day complete. Somewhere in the distance you can hear seagulls. He was so talkative before, yet in the end loneliness was the only listener. However, the curse continues eternally, never broken. This feels like the Cabin in the Woods elevator system. Greetings, manager. It marks 3 days now that you have worked here. The number 3 is a mysterious one. In age-old fables, it is common for a mysterious entity to appear and tell the protagonist to utter 3 wishes. Sadly, I am not a mage or a billionaire that can grant your wishes. However, I do happen to know what your predecessors wished for. There were many aspirations, common among them was the seeking of some kind of growth. Lead the company to prosperity, to achieve spiritual maturity. You name it, each had wanted to flower in a different way. Which of those 2 would you want? Obviously, it's all for the company. Your future is determined by what you do at this moment. Currently, you work for Lobotomy Corporation. Our company, you will see things that cannot be seen, and you will feel things that cannot be felt. You shall do impossible things. May your wish be granted. Perhaps you will become the best manager I have seen yet. So, you may be asking yourself if your predecessors managed to fulfill their wish. I suppose what happened to the others is not important after all. They're definitely dead. Like, definitely dead. I do promise to cheer you on for the journey to your final goal, though. You did it again, and you did it flawlessly, too. I myself have a lot of work to do. If you look at my notebook, my to-do list is always so full. But you know, I can get through it. I should just do my best, like I always have. I know I'm slower than the others. I always have to check my list or I'll miss something important. That's why I have this notebook with me all the time. Can't leave any mistakes, you know? I've been carrying it for so long that it's almost worn out. It's been with me ever since I began working here as the Sephira of the control team. I know Lady Angela worries about me from time to time, but I've got everything under control. I feel like this is the kind of life I've been yearning for ever since a long time ago, maybe even before I was capable of thinking. It feels as if I've wished for the same thing before, in some other place that wasn't the control team. Malkuth, please finish the report I requested by end of today. Sure thing, boss. I've got it right here in my list. I'll have it turned in by the end of the day. Well, I should get going now. It's a pleasure talking to you, manager. The AIs here, they're all unstable, with the exception of me. It's especially bad for Malkuth. You've noticed, haven't you? I can't complain, though. It only makes it easier for me to control her. Mission controlling meltdowns. As you may know, our facility isn't really the most stable thing. We're only able to keep the abnormalities contained thanks to the Qliphoth deterrents, which we briefly adjust down just before a workday begins. But this deterrence becomes unstable as time goes on, and eventually some abnormalities may undergo a meltdown. Oh, thank you for contributing to the community challenge, Cheyenne. 4,000 points. Goal, complete 8 work processes in containment units under Qliphoth. Well, I don't really have a choice, so yes, let's expand it. Working in other departments really isn't useful yet, so I guess that one? Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here, because I need to go out and do some adulting. I might do a second, smaller, shorter stream later, I'm not really sure. Might just be some MTG Arena or something like that if I do. But I'll probably pick up Lobotomy Corporation again some other time. Thank you everybody for joining me, and I'll see if I can find someone for us to read real quick before I go. That's all for this episode. If you enjoyed, please like, comment, subscribe, or join me on Twitch or Twitter. Hope to see you next time on Yukikaze Gaming. Botany!